What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the new album from the band Converge, entitled The Dusk In Us. This is released on Epitaph Records, Deathwish Inc. Yeah. We're reaching the last few weeks of videos here on this channel, and I want to try to get in some reviews of some very heavy hitter style sort of releases here on this channel, and what better way to kick off these last few reviews that I have planned than by talking about a band that's a heavy hitter in both hardcore and metal. If you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Boston, Massachusetts, and for the better part of the last 2+ decades or so, Converge have been a band that has really transcended hardcore and metal, metalcore, hardcore punk. Just so many differing ways to describe how influential and important Converge are. When it comes to bands that cross the fine line between hardcore and metal, Converge are definitely a band that I love and admire a lot. Like many bands I usually get into, I always seem to get into late. My first introduction to them was their 2009 album entitled Axe to Fall, and I fell in love with that album. I fell in love with the vocal varieties, the diversity of songs, the riffs, the bass, the spastic drumming. Every single thing about that record opened my eyes about that band, from Damages to the title track to Cruel Bloom, Wretched World. I fucking love that album so much. I mean, that was my personal favorite album of 2009. But because of that particular album, it only led me on to discover what type of a legacy Converge really had, with albums like Petitioning the Empty Sky, When Forever Comes Crashing, and the album that everyone, and I do mean everyone, seems to talk about when it comes to Converge, their 2001 album, Jane Doe. Absolute masterpiece. I know some people love it, some people hate it, but I consider it to be a very influential and important masterpiece in the spectrum of hardcore and metal. Absolutely amazing album. But every other album post Jane Doe, I feel, has meant something and registered something very special in my heart. Albums like You Fail Me, No Heroes, the aforementioned Axe to Fall, and the last time we had heard something from Converge with their 2012 album, All We Love We Leave Behind. Pretty much everything about Converge you would know and love and expect. The diversity, the riffs, the songwriting, the just overall brilliant stuff. I really enjoyed that record. And when I found out that there was going to be a new Converge album in the works, I was very intrigued to hear what was going to happen, because 2017 has been a somewhat solid year for not only Deathwish Inc, but for Jake Bannon, the vocalist of Converge. He has a slowcore sort of project called Where Your Wounds. Completely different and unique from what he's been doing with Converge, and I really enjoyed that project. But his main project had something more to offer. They put out a 7-inch EP featuring 2 tracks that were going to appear on the new album. I Can Tell You About Pain and Under Duress. From the glimpse of listening to those 2 songs, I was very intrigued as to how things were going to go about this time. It pretty much follows the basic sort of Converged formulas of what we know and expect from them, but one song was very good, but the other was really great, that song being Under Duress. That song hit incredibly hard. But I wanted to hear more from this particular album, and I believe we are here with their 9th full-length. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, their 9th full-length, The Dusk In Us. It's 13 tracks, and it clocks in at around 44 minutes in length. And pretty much, if you know what Converge have been doing throughout the majority of their full-lengths post Jane Doe, and you're accustomed to what their sound is about, you're going to get a lot more of that intriguing diversity here with The Dusk In Us. I mean, when it starts off with the track A Single Tear, and you hear those shouted hardcore vocals to some really top-notch drumming, it's only going to lead the way to more intriguing experiences, because you get what you expect from Converge here on this album, but you get a lot more heavy moments throughout. You get some more post-metal sludgy sort of moments, but then you get those really spastic, crazy, over-the-top riffs and drum sections. It just really stands for something very special here, and I think this is another really awesome album in the Converge discography, and it's definitely a banger and a heater for sure. Going to the musicianship aspects of this album, I think there's a lot to behold here on this album. Tracks like Under Duress, Archipov Calm, Wildlife, to even the two shortest tracks on here, Broken by Light and Cannibals. You get some seriously creative and crazy riffs going on with those songs. You get that almost mathy sort of vibe with some of those riffs, but the way these guitar riffs sound and the way everything is played, it feels wonderful. It feels heavy. To the even sludgier sort of riffs with the title track and the song Thousands of Miles Between Us, you just get a lot of really awesome riffs going on here. I love how Kurt Ballou handles his business here with the riffs. It's very awesome, it's very creative, and definitely makes a difference for every single track on here. The bass on here is incredibly audible and clear. I love the way this bass sounds on this album, the way everything is mixed, the way everything plays out and sounds and is accomplished very well. I love how audible and gritty this bass tone is. It definitely keeps in that metal and hardcore sort of vibe going on here. It really sounds wonderful. The drumming on here is top-notch as per usual, any sort of Converge release. I mean, Ben Kohler is a great drummer. I aforementioned what he's been doing with All Pigs Must Die, but as far as his actual full band is concerned, his drum work on here shines tremendously. A lot of the hardcore blasts, the fills, the drum patterns and variations, it's just really awesome. The lengthier tracks show off his stamina, the faster tracks showcase his chops as to what type of a metal and hardcore drummer he really is, and he delivers a very, very awesome drum performance here. It's very awesome. Going back to tracks like Under Duress and taking tracks like Wildlife and Merc and Marrow, it's just really, really awesome to hear this drum work be put to life and done very, very well here. And when it comes to the vocals, you're going to get a lot of diversity here with Jake Bannon's vocals. It's really, really awesome to hear this guy do his thing and do the kind of vocal styles that he does. You get the typical sort of throaty, undecipherable sort of growl that he's best known for, the height. He has a very distinctive and unique voice. That's what I love so much about Jacob Bannon, is the fact that he can go from very throaty and undecipherable to hardcore shouts to some very unique crooning. Like going back to the two very unique and distinctive tracks on here, like the Dusk In Us and Thousands of Miles Between Us. The crooning vocals, the sung vocals are very awesome, and it showcases a lot of diversity. You get that sludge metal, doom, and post-metal sort of influences going with those vocals, but I feel with his normal sort of vocal register, with the hardcore shouts and the growls and snarls, it's just really awesome to hear him do his thing. Once again, Under Duress, an amazing, amazing song. I love his vocal performance there. But then going once again to Archipel Calm, Broken by Light, the two short tracks on here, it's sensational. I love his vocal style on those tracks, and it's definitely something to hold your attention. So overall, this is another really solid and unique album in the Converge discography. I don't know if I like this more than I did All We Love We Leave Behind. I don't consider this to be the best Converge record ever, because, I don't know, every Converge album has a different feeling and a story to it, but the Dusk In Us is very, very awesome. It's a very awesome piece of hardcore and metal. I honestly think that the new Integrity holds the spot for me as when it comes to hardcore and metal. I think that album is a fucking masterpiece, near masterpiece in my opinion, but this new Converge album, it's fucking awesome, and if you're a fan of Converge, you're going to find something really awesome with the Dusk In Us. So if I had to think of any personal favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say a single tier, Under Duress, Archipov Calm, Wildlife, Merc and Marrow, Broken by Light, Really, really awesome song. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you some links in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Converge Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it by digitally, and it is available as a CD and 12-inch vinyl. To the best of my knowledge, I'm pretty sure the CDs are still readily available. The vinyl version was sold in multiple color variants. I don't know if all of them are sold out completely. I know I ordered mine through the Converge web store. I will link you to that if there are any available physically. And hopefully this album will continue to stay in print. So again, the album is The Dusk In Us by Converge. This is released on Deathwish Inc. Epitaph Records. Go check this one out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very, very solid 9 out of 10. Definitely awesome hardcore and metal release. Very, very badass stuff. So if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and how you think it compares to previous Converge records. Or any of you guys into Converge, definitely let me know. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until next time, Armio out.